right. First and foremost, I'm going to start off by giving our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Kabadash. Second, I want to give double honor to the apostles of GMS that rule well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the Slaki, the 12 tribes of Israel, starting with the elect, right, which consists of your so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanic, Native Americans, and Isaiah 26. This is in the G&T. And a cut to those RATs that's in the land now, which, these scriptures are starting to cut them. It's not looking too good. We know about the curses and we know about the blessings and the restoration of the true Israelites. So, these scriptures it doesn't link up with the people that's in the land now. How can you say? The world, which has been pretty much silenced and paid off to pretty much keep quiet and not mention and make mention of what those RATs has been doing to stir up conflict, hell, catastrophe, set up wars, etc. Have been funding wars. Things are coming intuition, and things are being put out there. The things that happen in the dark is coming to the light, and these other nations are pretty much getting sick and tired of what the pain and the agony that these that the RATs have been doing on the earth. So this is going to read this chapter and end it Isaiah 26, and it goes in to say Yahweh Bashem Yahushua will give his people victory. But as you can see now, it's conflict, it's anguish. There's no peace on earth. So Isaiah 26:1, the day is coming when the people will sing this song in the land of Judah. Our city is strong. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua himself defends its walls. Open the city gates and let the faithful nation enter. The nation whose people do what is right. And we ultimately know this is talking about the elect. And, I believe it's in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, or if I'm not correct, I know it for sure. There's another scripture that talks about the Lord is pretty much going to throw down all the mountains, the governments, the peoples, and the nations, and bring our people safely into the land. So it says, you, Lord, give perfect peace to those who keep their purpose firm. And what's our purpose? Mentioning his name and prophesying, what's about to come, what's about to happen and take place upon the earth. And put their trust in you. Again, these nations, the people that came, that's in the land now, made no mention of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. They came in as a thief. They stole our identity, brought up a bunch of adversity, wars, catastrophes, and lies. And then they snuck their way up in there through, in 1948 with the help of American aid and money. Nothing of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So, trust in the Lord forever, but, we understand the 1948ers, they trust in America and that aid and that funding. He will always protect us. He has humbled those who are proud. So ultimately, really, in all actuality, it should be the Lord, which is supposedly, according to them, I guess should come down and defend them from with the Iranians, Pakistan, Iraq, etc. According to them, one thing they're talking about is building some third temple because they discovered some heifers, some red heifers. So that how are you going to do this amongst all but chaos? So it said, because remember the last time the kingdom, the temple was standing was in 70 AD. So he said he destroyed the strong city they lived in and sent its walls crashing to the dust. Ultimately, it's going to be, America, a strong fenced city, which nobody has ever pretty much have entered. It caused any ruckus of war. Those who were oppressed walked over it now and trampled it under their feet. Lord, you make the path smooth for good people. The road they travel is level. Yeah, because ultimately the Lord is going to redeem his people and bring the elect back into the land. We follow your will and put our hope in you. You are all that we desire. At night I long for you with all my heart. When you judge the earth and its people, they will all learn what justice is, and that's why ultimately the prophets has been set on the uh, the four corners, to proclaim this message, because what you're seeing is Yahweh judging the earth, and He's going to pretty much show the world how He dealeth with the elect and how He punish and He sets those up, He sets the wicked down and puts the righteous back in their stead. Verse 10, even though you are kind to the wicked, they will never learn to do what is right. Yeah, because here it is, Esau, the RATs, and the different branches of Edom, they've been blaspheming, been allowed to do the most heinous, wickedest, corrupt robbery of all times. But, they don't, they're not, trying to pretty much admit what's going on, just come out clean. They're not trying to have no fairness or balance on the earth. They're just trying to make oppress it even more and make it even worse. The fact that there's no peace on the earth because of the so-called white man, the different branches of Edom. You think these Edomites should be like, you know what? All right, we just trying to we're going to change some things around, try to be fair. We know the so-called Negro, Latino, Spaniards are indeed the house of Israel, the true Hebrew Israelites, and we are the house of Edom. Which we're going to try to make amends, but nah. But it says even here in the land of righteous people, they still do wrong. So it says they refuse to recognize your greatness. So here it is. Esau is everywhere. He's in the Middle East. He's everywhere. Does he proclaim Yahweh Shem Shah? Does he try to keep the law, statutes, commandments? No, he doesn't. He makes his own laws. Ultimately, he wants everybody in all nations to bow down to him. So your enemies do not know that you will punish them, because Esau has been given that spirit, going to Romans the 9th chapter, of hardening, of stubbornness, and how you say what did Yahweh say, that he hardened a hardened mind, because Esau, he knows what he's doing ultimately is going to be to his downfall. He sees the chariots, etc. But all in all, you know, it was Yahweh that put that hardened spirit on him, so he can ultimately show his power. Let them suffer the punishment you have prepared. What is it? Isaiah 47, Jeremiah 50:51. Show them how much you love your people, which is who? Starting with the elect. And all in all, Romans 11 chapter, which states how Yahweh Shah is going to save all of Israel, the Israelites, the 12 tribes, not just those RATs, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All of the 12 tribes. You will give us prosperity, Lord. Everything that we achieve is the result of what you do. Everything that those rat bastards have obtained and achieved have not been of Yahweh Bashem Shah. It's been of the America. Crime, war, witchcraft, sorcery, lies, deceit, Um, Lord, our power, we have been ruled by others, but you alone are our power. Now they are dead and will not live again. Their ghosts will not rise, because ultimately, Esau, Edom, he's going to be destroyed after the 1,000 years of slavery. He will not rise again, ever again. For you have punished them and destroyed them. No one remembers them anymore. Lord, you have made our nation grow, enlarging its territory on every side. And this has brought you honor. You punished your people, Lord, and in anguish they pray to you. Yeah, because we're in this captivity, we're praying to the Lord. You never in your life heard those RATs talk about captivity or punishment, and he cried out to Yahweh Shah. They didn't even prophesy. They just got in, for all of a sudden, they just got, bam, look up, they're in the land. So it says, in English, they pray to you, you, Lord, have made us cry out. Again, we didn't hear those RATs. Even here in America, they, what? Okay, one thing about that. Why are they here in America, right? Why are they not complaining about, Lord, bring us home? When they're in their little ish temples in places that they dwell, why are they not crying out that they have been taken to the land of Israel? Why are they not outside prophesying? Why are they not out there talking about the injustice of the earth and what's going on? No, they're not talking about it. Why? Because they're in on it. So it says, yeah, just look at this, right? You're not hearing those RATs cry about anything. Why? Because they got money. They're being taken care of. You, Lord, have made it by injustice, by injustice and oppression. You, Lord, have made us cry out as a woman in labor cries out in pain. We were in pain and agony. Who's in pain and agony? So-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanic, Native Americans. Is it not a coincidence that Hispanics are all on the TV not talking about they're the most, the criminals getting deported, etc. Here it is. You got a bunch of fucking goops, East Indians, uh, so-called Arabs. You got all the other nations, so-called Europeans. They're over here. But they're not the face of being deported. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, not even Negroes, not yet, but you so-called Latinos, Hispanics, and U.S. Indians, y'all are the face of deportation. I wonder why. I'll be around Benjamin, they've been talking and saying that, even their people have been affected. So I said, but we gave birth to Salaki. We were in pain and agony, but we gave birth to nothing. We have won no victory for our land. We have accomplished nothing. Those of our people who have died will live again. And that shows you that what's up? Damn, reincarnation um, is real. Ultimately, even what Yahushua did, he was able to rise again on the third day. That just shows you right there. Their body. So it said, those of our people who have died will live again. Reincarnation. Their bodies will come back to life. All those sleeping in their graves will wake up and sing for joy, as a sparkling dew refreshes the earth. So the Lord will revive those who have been long been dead. So reincarnation is going to happen out in the kingdom. In the kingdom, you know, um, starting with the elect, you're going to be brought back, in a fresh new body. Judgment and restoration. Verse 20, go into your houses, my people, and shut the door behind you. Hide yourself for a little while till the hours by Shah anger is over. The Lord is coming from his heavenly dwelling place to punish the people of the earth for their sins. The murders that were secretly committed on those on the earth will be revealed, and the ground will no longer hide those who have been killed. So it's going to be a great deliverance, by the chariots, etc. And we're going to be taken into that land, you know. We're going to be restored back in that land, not by but not by no mandate of 1948. I'm going to go and wrap this thing up. Those who edified with that, Mr. Shalom.